Hare Krishna. Now we're connected to the server. Da-na-na-na. Okay, welcome devotees. Hare Krishna. In our reading of Brhat Bhagavatamrta, we have a wonderful, exciting, well, it's all exciting, but wonderful pastime we're going to read this evening. Another pastime of Krishna and Kaliya, with a very interesting, not twist, but a very interesting detail which comes out in this particular pastime with Kaliya. So let me bring up the book on the screen. I got prepared beforehand. Okay, am I sharing the right one? I guess I'll find out. Share. So there you go. Mother Mongol Peru. We're beginning today on text 2. Let me just check. 219. Okay, which is there.
Yeah.
So we're reading just a translation here to save a bit of time. The verses are a little bit long, so Sanskrit's not always so easy.
Should we say any prayers in the beginning?
Oh yes, excuse me. Nama Om Vishnu Bare Krishna Vishtai Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nivasisha Sunyavhari Pushtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, off we go.
Text 215.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, it is amazing how intently these devotees are absorbed in the bottomless rasa of pure love. The exalted nature of their mood is incomprehensible even to great sages.
Yeah, so fathomless means it has no end, it has no depth. It is fathomless, like a fathomless ocean. No one has come to the bottom of it. So fathomless rasa of pure love. Yeah.
One day, while playing on the shore of the Yamuna, Lord Krishna, Nandana, heard that Kaliya has came back to his lake. Commentary. Which Kaliya once stayed continued to be known as Kaliya Hrada, Kaliya's lake, even after his expulsion from Vraj. Text 221.
So
Krishna
he's come back
there alone.
Yeah, he's come back to. He was told to go away, and then he's come back.
Yeah, that's why I said this is quite a very wonderful pastime.
Back, yeah.
He's missing Krishna. Krishna rushed there alone, swiftly climbed the nipa tree, and dived in the lake, splashing water into the shore. Commentary. Krishna though a wise, Krishna though true
Krishna
it
thought.
was
Krishna thought.
Krishna thought it's wise not companions with him in Kaliya's lake, which had to become poisoned again. He was also concerned that they might try to stop him from jumping into the lake. The vigorous way Krishna dived is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.16.7. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead landed in the serpent's lake, the snake therefore became extremely agitated and began breathing heavily, further polluting it with volumes of poison. The force of the Lord's entrance into the lake made it overflow on all sides, and poisonous, fearsome water flooded the surrounding lands up to the distance of 100 bow lengths. This is not all amazing, however, for the Supreme Lord possesses infinite strength. Krishna frolicked in the water, enjoying the sport of swimming back and forth and making all sorts of noises. But then he drew near the cruel Kaliya, and out of curiosity allowed himself to be enveloped into the serpent's coil. Commentary. When Krishna played in the water, the noise he created was not ordinary. It sounded like very pleasing music. When Krishna companions, the cowherd boys, saw that for no good reason he was gone, they all became as if struck down by death. In great anxiety to find him, they followed his footprints to the lake. At first, the cowherd boys had no idea where Krishna might have gone, and they didn't know what to do. But soon they noticed footprints leading out of the village. Those footprints could not have been those of anyone but Krishna, because they had special marks, such as the flag and the elephant goat. These many young friends were the same boys who, losing sight of Krishna on the forest path for but a moment, would lose their will to live. And now when they saw his motionless, they all fainted. Commentary. The footprints led the boys to the lake, but there they saw Krishna immobilized and wrapped in the serpent coils. Then when Krishna and the boys had been on execution in the forest,
Excursions.
in the forest, and Krishna had, sorry, it's just keep moving this page from here. One second. Excursion in the forest, and Krishna had passed for even a moment behind the tree, and the boys couldn't see him. The boys would lose all enthusiasm for living, and now to see Kaliya about to kill Krishna filled them with dread. All the village animals, the cows, the bull, the cows, and also all the animals of the forest stood on the shore, eyes fixed on Krishna's face, and they cried, made of great roar of suffering. Text 226. Birds exhausted from loudly crying flew precipitously into the lake. Trees and plants suddenly dried up, and many terrible and auspicious omens appeared. Oof. Commentary. All the creatures, including the birds and plants, agonized over Krishna's predicament. They were all on the verge of death. The earth trembled amidst other portentous omens. In Vrindavan area, there then arose all three types of fearful omens, those on the earth, those in the sky, and those in the bodies of living creatures, which announced immediate danger. Bhagavatam 10, 16, 12. Inspired by the Lord Krishna from within, one old man went running to the cowherd village. He wept and made dreadful cries of "Alas, alas!" and told the cowherds what has happened. Commentary. Shinanda and other cowherds, having seen the bad omen and received no news about Krishna, were about to die from anxiety. To relieve their suffering, Krishna telepathically inspired an old cowherd to go to tell them of the situation, had Krishna not ordered him in that way. The old man would not have had the strength to run back to Vraja. Krishna is Prabhu, the Lord, so he can empower anyone to do anything. He made an old person his messenger because an older words are less likely to interfere with anyone's intimate rasa and more likely to be trusted. Actually, the desperation of Rajavasis felt overseeing evil omens, and having no news about Krishna was designated to increase their special love for him. Surely they would come quickly to Kaliya's lake when they learned he was there. The people of the cowherd village had already noticed many frightening omens. Krishna was the source of Raja's good fortune, and the cowherds, frantic with concern for him, had started out to seek him. Commentary. The Vrajavasis knew that as long as Krishna was safe, nothing bad would ever happen. The evil portents might therefore indicate that Krishna was in great danger. With this terrible thought in mind, they all wanted at once to look for him. They were already outside the village when the old messenger met him. The added force of the old man's report spoke with a voice choking in his throat, struck them suddenly like a bolt of lightning. The shocks of hearing that Kalia had returned and was again holding Krishna in his coil was unbearable.
Yeah, something to keep in mind here is that this is all Krishna's doing to bring the residents of Vrindavan at the very point of death. For the death, for the possible consequences of Krishna being killed. This, and so therefore it's kind of ecstasy upon ecstasy, if that can be understood. There's the ecstasy of the Stehi Bhav, of the basic underlying relationship with Krishna, like the cowherd boys have with Krishna, Mother Yasoda and Vatsalya Ras and the gopis, etc. That's called Stehi Bhav, their particular relationship. That's called the that's called the principal rasa. But then these situations bring out more intense emotions on top of that already very deep emotion. That's it's called Vyapyachari Bhava. Yeah, different bhavas which are a consequence of underlying bhavas. So it's just, it kind of spirals, I think we mentioned before, our Mother Yasoda's, her complete horror, her complete shock at Krishna, from her point of view, being on the verge of being killed by Kalia. So it, not if exciting is the right word, but Krishna is, he's very expert at creating these very intense emotions and rasas. So as we can imagine, Krishna's going to free himself from the coils of Kalia, as we will read. But there, to that degree, there was an anxiety, being basically on the edge of death. Then that will be to the degree of ecstasy they will experience when Krishna frees himself from the coils of Kalia. So that's, in that sense, it's Krishna's divine arrangement. But they may not see it as so divine. For them, it's the end of their life. It's the end of everything. And then, as we'll see, as this pastime unfolds, Kalia's second visit to Raj, then Krishna does something quite amazing. And I won't give the game away, but we're
you're gonna make sure.
Yeah, your voice is breaking up there. Perhaps we'll call on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, perhaps any other devotees out there who'd like to read text 230 onwards.
Yes, I can read.
Yeah.
230. Okay. 231.
230.
Oh, do we need to go back a bit, or?
No, it's there.
Okay. Is this Balaram?
Yeah.
Balaram, who was sitting in his house, tried to console the people of Raj, who were running forward like living corpses. This can't be true, he cried out. This can't be true. Text 231. Balaram somehow told his mother Rohini of the news, got her to stay back to watch the house, and ran to catch up with those who had left. Commentary. Knowing the power of his younger brother Krishna, Balaram couldn't believe that Kalia had defeated him. Balaram came out of the house and ran into the street, spontaneously shouting, "This can't be true." Seeing the Vrajavasis hurrying on their way to join the search for Krishna, Balaram tried to calm them, and he had to speak to his mother before he left. So he was one of the last to arrive on the scene. Text 232. He soon reached the lake. Seeing his younger brother in such a state, He couldn't keep his gravity and wept in the distress of love. Text 233. As he lamented in ways that would shatter logs and stones, suddenly he fainted, just like Yashoda and Nanda. Commentary. In the bewildering commotion, Yashoda and Nanda had already fainted and fallen to the ground. Text 234. Then all the living beings there made a great and fearful cry, full of agony, that made the whole universe cry in pain. Text 235. Awakened by that tumult, Balaram, the most determined of heroes, with great effort steadied himself. Text 236. A moment later, Krishna's parents again became conscious. Seeing their son in such a plight, they cried loudly and rushed to enter the lake. But powerful Sri Balaram held them back with the strength of his arms. Commentary. It had taken all of Lord Balaram's mental strength to convince his mother to stay home, and now it took all his physical strength to restrain Nanda and Yashoda.
Yeah, just on that point as well we just made is Krishna will go to any and every length to increase the love of his devotees and to increase the attachment. But that's not just for the siddhas, but that's for the sadhakas as well. So keep that in mind. Krishna's prepared to put us through anything and everything if it's going to mean we're going to become more attached to him. So get ready.
Yeah.
It's not,
yeah,
go on. So, in other words, spiritual life is not, at least Krishna consciousness, real spiritual life is not the walk in the park. You know, it is going to be filled with lots of trials, lots of tribulations, lots of reversals. But the idea is all of that should cause us to be more attached to Krishna in a very deep way.
Yeah, I found at the beginning of Krishna consciousness, for quite some time, there were like upheavals and reversals and challenges and all kinds of things. But recently, in recent years, I find things are very calm, and actually, I'm quite grateful it's quite calm, because the challenges are, they're quite like, they take a lot of effort
Yes.
to get through.
So,
but yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good point. So it seems like you've passed a good few tests and now you're on a even skill, you know. But who's to know what Krishna arranged for our lives, either individually or collectively? So so Krishna deals with each devotee in a very personal way. So some, like some will experience the opposite. They may experience Krishna consciousness in the beginning to be very smooth, very natural, very smooth and without troubles. But then 15 years later, full of so many troubles and tribulations and trials. So Krishna's dealing with everyone in a very, very, very personal way. And it's not going to be the same for everyone, you know? So, and then we have Queen Kunti, isn't it, who prays that calamities come. Vipadu santuta shashvat, yeah? Bhavanutadanam dasya, so that she can get the darshan of Krishna.
Actually, I think living in London and actually just going outside the door is enough of a challenge every day to get from here to the temple or do whatever you want to do. It's actually like, it is a big challenge, I find anyway, just to like get through it without getting these horrible images in your head, which you think, like some of the things I've seen on my way to the temple. And I think, Krishna, how do I get this image out of my consciousness? It's like a samskar, once you see it, how do you undo it? It's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Life as it is presents so many challenges. So perhaps for some, Krishna's kind of doesn't need to do much else. But Krishna will, if a devotee's becoming, what's the word? It's becoming too complacent and is playing around with the material energy, then Krishna may arrange something to shake them up, some sickness or some challenge, you know. Krishna's, yeah, if one's becoming too familiar with and is flirting with the material energy, then Krishna may arrange something to wake the devotee up. So there might be some serious upheaval. Again, how Krishna deals with each jiva is very individual. But he would do, the point I'm making, he would do whatever's necessary for us to become detached and attached, to be detached from the material world and absolutely attached to his lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right. Unless there's any other comments on that, you can read on. 238, I think.
238. Okay. Yeah, 238. Shri Baladev said, "These are not the attendants who live with you in Vaikuntha. They are not the forest monkeys. They are not the Yadavas. These are your devotees of Goloka who have no life other than you. They are dying, my lord. And there is nothing I can do to save them." Commentary. Here Balaram reminds Krishna that the Goloka devotees are different from Krishna's other eternal associates, his Vaikuntha Parsadas, his monkey soldiers of Ayodhya like Hanuman, and the Yadus of Dwarka like Uddhava. More than all these other devotees, the Golokavasis are exclusively dependent on Krishna. The Lord's devotees in Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, and Dwarka, being always aware of Krishna's omnipotence, managed to tolerate separation from him, and so they could have responded favorably to Balaram's consoling words. But the hearts of these Golokavasis, under the intolerable weight of their prema, have lost all equilibrium. The Golokavasis cannot accurately estimate Krishna's power, so they are convinced that Kaliya is about to finish him. If Krishna himself does not act soon to relieve them, surely they will die. Text 239. O merciful Krishna, please give up this game before these devotees die. Otherwise, O Krishna, sole friend of the cowherds, your gentle heart will come to grief. Commentary. Krishna is the reservoir of all rasas, and so he feels pathos, karuna ras, but although he enjoys the sport of pretending to be lifeless, his devotees are driven to desperation by it. If he doesn't stop this sport, he will be the last one to lament when all his devotees have died. Lord Balaram is playing on Krishna's emotions because he knows that Krishna cannot tolerate seeing his devotees suffer. Text 240. Shri Sarup said, "The gopis cried and lamented in so many ways, their limbs in terrible pain, their hearts shattered by sorrow. They fainted and fainted, and as if to go to the side of their Lord, they tried to enter the lake." Commentary. On the way to the lake, the gopis repeatedly fainted at the mere thought of Krishna's distress, and so they arrived last. Their hair was scattered, and their broken bangles and other ornaments scratched their arms. They tried to enter the lake as if to join Krishna, but their real purpose was to drown themselves. Someone might question, how could these gopis, who are worshipped by the wisest scholars in creation, be so ignorant of the Supreme Lord's power? The answer is that their minds were distracted by sorrow. It is unreasonable to think that the exalted gopis cannot suffer sorrow. In fact, they simply cannot bear to be apart from Krishna, even for a moment.
Okay, so yeah, this is normally you would think the answer to this, how could these gopis who are worshipped by the wisest scholars be so ignorant of the Supreme Lord's power? So one answer for that could be, the obvious answer is Yoga Maya. They're not fully aware of Krishna's absolute position as God, being covered by Yoga Maya. They see him as the village hero. But here another answer is given. They were distracted by sorrow. Yeah. So that's, I guess that's Yogamaya. Yeah. Okay. Go on. You can continue, Mo. You still there?
She's muted. Labanga.
Frozen.
No, I was muted, sorry, because
Okay.
there was noise outside. Suddenly the Lord stopped his self-invented sport and freed himself from the grip of Kaliya's coils. He climbed up on the serpent's thousands of upraised, outspread hoods and extended his lotus arms. Commentary. To save the gopis from despair, Krishna extracted himself from the crutches of Kaliya's embrace before the girls could reach the water. He jumped up onto Kaliya's uncountable hoods and spread his arms to lift the gopis up to be with him, even though the gopis were out of arm's reach. He is Prabhu and so can do anything he wants. He is never restricted by the laws of nature.
Okay, so now he's caught hold of all the gopis. Okay, and he's still on the hoods of Kaliya. So some of you might know what's coming next.
Taking hold of his beloved gopis all of his beloved gopis at once, Krishna briskly raised them onto the hoods of this snake, whose hoods, delightfully swaying back and forth, appeared like rows of jeweled platforms, creating a most impressive sight. Text 243. Krishna artfully danced with the gopis on those most amazing stages, accompanied by many celestial singers and musicians. Thus Lord Krishna, the source of all amusement, enjoyed his rasa dance pastime. Commentary. Never before had anyone seen such stages for dancing as these. To complement the festivities, many demigods appeared in the sky overhead, singing and playing musical instruments. In this atmosphere, Krishna and the gopis fully enjoyed their dancing. The entire spectacle was created by the energies of Krishna, who is known as Kotukarva, the source of all entertainment. Sri Nanda and the other older cowards, slow to recover from their deep shock, did not witness this rasa dance.
Okay, so Nanda and the other elders are still in a faint. They did not see this. Okay, it was exclusive show.
Yeah. Nanda and the others on the shore, brought back to consciousness by Balaram, gazed at Krishna with delight and surprise. Commentary. Even though Krishna was saved, the older cowherds were still wary of what else Kaliya might do. Text 245. From these garments, having thus subdued the king of snakes, Krishna, grinning, seized the shawls of the serpents' wives, the Nagnapatis, who were offering him prayers. Text 246. From these garments he made a long rein, and with his left hand playfully pierced and threaded Kaliya's nose. Wow.
Okay, so just before we continue this exciting part, I always had the question about the Nagapatnis, what form they actually take. As we know, they were the wives of Kaliya, and they offered different prayers, and they're pictured as having half human form and half snake form. So I'm never quite sure what to make of that, because Kaliya is a snake. And so his wives, we might guess, should also be snakes. It's only obvious. But we see they're pictured as having half human-like bodies. I happened to be listening to Sadaputa. I was listening to one class by Sadaputa recently. And he happened to, it's an obvious point, but, well, now he's mentioned it, it seems obvious, that the Nagas, they have mystic powers. Some of you might know this already. The Nagas, they can take on human form. They can, what's called, I think David Mutamaj calls this shape-shifting. They have the potency, or they have the mystic power to be human, or to be a snake, or to be both. Yeah. So apparently there's some devotees, they get into quite a what's the word? What's the word where controversy, like a common
It's conspiracy theories.
yeah, a conspiracy theory that all the leaders, the demonic leaders on earth, are actually snakes. Actually
We'll
nuggets.
be lucky if we
No,
were
reptiles,
snakes.
not snakes, reptiles.
Reptiles,
We'll
sorry.
be lucky. We'll be lucky if we were some nagas. They were being so wise and ruler.
Anyway, it looks like I've opened a whole can of worms here. So yeah, so they're reptiles, so the same with like abilities to shapeshift into human form. So that's what these Nagapatnis. Yeah. So and obviously, so to speak to Krishna, they're gonna come into human form, and to offer prayers to Krishna, they're gonna manifest human-like forms. Yeah. Because they have the ability to actually do that. So there you go, bit of interesting information there, which I discovered after many, many years of wondering about this. And Krishna allowed me to hear the answer. All right.
Mhm.
So back to the drama. Okay.
Yeah. Mounting the serpent like a horse, Krishna toughly drove him forward, all the while with his right hand happily playing the flute.
Oh. So he's got in one hand, he's holding, no, he's playing the flute, and the gopis are dancing on the hoods. He's having a great time. He is the supreme enjoyer. Yeah.
Text 248. From time to time, Krishna forcefully urged Kaliya on with the flute, as if it were a whip. Thus he showered great mercy on Kaliya by making that serpent his carrier. Commentary. Having to carry Krishna like a horse is hardly a degrading punishment. Only rare souls like Garuda can have the honor of being the Supreme Lord's carriers. As the Nagapatnis stated in their prayers to Krishna in the 10th canto, what you have done here is actually mercy for us, since the punishment you gave to the wicked certainly drives away all their contamination. Indeed, because this conditioned soul, our husband, is so sinful that he has assumed the body of a serpent, your anger toward him is obviously to be understood as your mercy.
Okay, so Sanat Goswami now is going to the first appearance of Kaliya and quoting from his first appearance in the Bhagavatam. Yeah. Go on.
The Nagapatnis offered Krishna clothing, fragrant paste, flower garlands, and priceless jeweled ornaments, and Krishna placed these on the serpents' hoods. Text 250. Then, with the Padma, Utpala, and other lotus flowers whose wives had brought to offer, those wives had brought to offer him from the Yamuna, and with the same ornaments he had already put on Kaliya, Krishna decorated the gopis and himself. Commentary. When the Nagapatnis presented ornaments to Krishna, he did not immediately put them on his own body. First he placed them on Kaliya's hoods, and then, while he and the gopis were all still standing on the hoods, he decorated the gopis and himself. Text 251. When the king of the serpents, with his countless mouths, recited prayers to Krishna, Krishna emerged from the lake, making all his friends and family dance with joy. Commentary. With so many mouths, Kaliya could nicely offer prayers. In this way, he was blessed by Krishna to become like Anantashesh. Right,
so they've just come from being on death's door. Now they're in great ecstasy. Yeah, now they're in great ecstasy. So quite a different dimension of emotions. Near death, 1 minute, and then in great ecstasy the next. Yeah. Krishna's good at churning emotions. Anybody else? Any readers out there to read some?
I can read.
Go ahead. Yeah. 252.
Together with the troop of young cowherd girls, most amazing Krishna dismounted Kaliya. The serpent was filled with happiness, for he had obtained great favor and benedictions, difficult for even Garuda to achieve. Commentary. Kalya had good reason to be satisfied, for his head had been graced by the presence of Krishna and the gopis. And Krishna offered him other benedictions, including the boon that Kalya's hood would always bear the auspicious
would bear the auspicious
marks of Krishna's feet. Krishna is the most amazing person because he shows such kindness even to wicked creatures like Kalya.
Right, so he hasn't just got Krishna's lotus feet, or he hasn't just got the gopis' lotus feet, footprints. He's got both. Actually, if you think about it, what's the synogia of all expressions of love is the ras dance. So he's got the footprints of that on his head. He's been blessed. The ras dance is happening on his own head, on his own heads. So he's definitely a blessed naga, that's for sure. He's... Go on.
253. Krishna was drenched by the flood of joyful tears from the eyes of Nanda and the others, who absorbed themselves in the worshipping and embracing him again and again. Krishna then mercifully gave the king of the serpent some instructions and exiled him from the lake.
Again, okay, go on.
Commentary. Krishna's command is recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:16. Okay. O serpent, you may not remain here any longer. Go back to the ocean immediately, accompanied by your retinue of children, wives, other relatives, and friends. Let this river be enjoyed by the cows and humans. If a mortal being attentively remembers my command to you to leave Vrindavan and go to the ocean, and narrates this account at sunrise and sunset, he will never be afraid of you. Text 254. Out of sheer spontaneous joy, the throngs of cowherd men and women celebrated a charming festival of music, song, and other expressions of gaiety. Completely satisfied, Krishna returned to his village.
Okay, I just highlight something we highlighted before. So as far as we understand, this is in Goloka Vrindavan. It is not Boma Vrindavan. Okay, but there's Sanat Goswami is including descriptions from Boma as well. So he's describing both because, and it's not possible always to distinguish which realm he's speaking about. And he's doing that, as far as I read, if I can remember, because I read forward a bit a couple of weeks ago, he's doing that to highlight the non-difference between Boma and Goloka. In other words, what is Boma is actually the spiritual world. So here he's describing, he's bringing in verses from Krishna's Boma pastimes. And here, Kaliya, as we've always understood that there's no demons in Goloka. But here demons appeared. But he's quickly became, because there was poison, so that's from Boma. Yeah, and then in Goloka, he's dancing on the hoods. So as far as I can understand, Sanat Goswami is speaking of both places and weaving a wonderful pastime, just so we can, that there is no difference between the two. Right, it's a bit technical to follow, but because we read as we read on, it very much sounds like here the next is going to be Keshi and Arista is mentioned. So now he seems to be referring to Boma. Anyway, let's read on and see how this mystery unfolds. Any questions or comments, please feel free to ask or comment.
Okay, text 255. Once the two great demons, Keshi and Arista, came to Vraj. They were favorite servants of wicked Kamsa, visible manifestation of his life's heir.
Wow. Manifestations of the life heir of Kamsa.
256. The first of these two assumed the form of a huge horse, and the other a bull. They terrified the cowherds, trampling the land of Gokul. Text 257. Both at once they entered the cowherd village, their vast bodies touching the sky, their roars throwing everyone to the ground. Commentary. The pastime of subduing Kalya involved the combined wrath of pathos and heroism. But the next pastime recounted is one of the pure heroism, Viraras. In this instance, the two famous demons, Kesi and Arista, friends of Kamsa, arrived in Vraj at the same time, assuming animal bodies. Abnormally large, they terrified the cowherd village and harassed the cows, trampling them with heavy feet. Srila Sanatana Goswami says the demons harassed Gokul. He uses these words to mean both the cowherd village and the herd of cows.
Okay, so in case you didn't see that, if you don't know, you may have seen it come up on the screen. Paphos means lamentation. It means, let's see, I'll just put it up again. That and a quality that evokes pity or sadness. So Krishna used this paphos and then the opposite, a great hero. Yeah. Okay, so new word for some, paphos. Okay, go on, 258.
Though Krishna's frightened loved ones tried to stop Krishna, pulling him back with all their mighty, Krishna reassured them. Showing the courage of a hero, he slapped his arms with his hands and went forward to confront the demons. Commentary. Frightened by this monstrous horse and bull, the men and women of cowherd community wanted to prevent Krishna from going near the demons. Text 259. Keshi, running very fast, appeared before Krishna first, and Krishna with a kick tossed him far away. Krishna next found Arista the bull, pierced a hole in his nose, tied him up, and brought him before Lord Shiva, Gopeshwar.
Okay, it's another interesting part of the pastime we haven't heard before.
Bull, yeah, right, yes. Commentary. Since horses generally travel faster than bulls, Krishna first encountered Kesi. Krishna kicked the horse demon so far away that he was unlikely ever to come back. Krishna then subdued Arista and offered him to Sri Gopeshwar, the famous Shivalinga of the Vrindavan forest, to remain sitting before Gopeshwar Mahadev, tied up for safekeeping as Lord Gopeshwar's carrier, so that Arista would not be free to wander about and cause more trouble. Text 260.
Yes, so he's tied him up like a pet, you know, told him to stay put. You're a bad boy, stay here.
260. Then Kesi, the horse, returned, but powerful Krishna, whose valor never falters, jumped up and forcibly mounted him. Training him to move here and there, Krishna splendidly displayed his own prowess by taming Kesi completely. Commentary. How could Krishna have brought Arista to Gopeshwar and then returned so quickly to meet Kesi? Krishna is Amanda Vikrama, anything but slow. His abilities have no limit. Text 261. Krishna had thousands of his friends also mount the horse, and with his swift hand made the horse jump in many ways, allowing these friends to roam both the earth and the sky. Thus he took his pleasure. Text 262. Having brought the horse under his control in no time, Krishna tied him up with ropes and kept him within the cowherd village for the entertainment of riding and for pulling carts. He also kept the bull. Commentary. Krishna took Krsna from whom he had placed before Sri Gopeshwar and kept him in the cow pasture for pulling carts.
All right, so he's not killed them here.
No.
He's keeping them as pets. Well, playful pastimes for the cowherd boys and the other villagers. Yeah. Causing to, yeah. Okay, yeah, for pulling carts, and he also kept the bull for entertainment of riding, like a fairground ride. Well,
Text 263. One day while Krishna was living in the town of Nandeshwar, Akura came on Kamsa's order to take Krishna from Braj to Madhupuri.
okay, let's see how this pastime unfolds here. If there's any different details. We all know of this from the Krishna book. Yeah.
The commentary. The next pastime described in text 263 through 344 is one of pure extreme pathos.
So lamentation and sadness. Yeah.
Both in Gokul and in the earthly Gokula. Nandeshwar Hill is the site of Nand Maharaj's residence. The Vrindavan pastime thus far related by Sri Swarup happened mostly in the forest, but on this occasion Krishna was at home in Nandagam. Text 264. If stones, logs and other inert objects, even from other places, hear what happened then in Raj, they cry and shatter to pieces. Commentary. We have already been told about the exceptional aesthetic symptoms of the trees and rocks of Vrindavan, but now we are informed that such objects, even outside Krishna's abode, was devastated when they hear the pastimes of Akuras taking Krishna away from Raj. Text 265. The night the residents of Gokul heard the news that Akura had arrived, they all lamented profusely in various ways. They cried and fainted again and again. Commentary. The Vrajvasis all knew who Akura was and why he had come. Okay, got a few pictures here.
All right, there's no pictures here.
Oh, I got a really good picture. First one, Narad's best of Lord associate in the guise of an exalted sage. Anyway, so many nice pictures. Wow. Okay. Text 266. Yashoda, her son, her very life, was terrified of wicked Kamsa, hiding himself and hiding Krishna by keeping him covered with her cloth. She uttered special vows for his protection. Commentary. Mother Yashoda was aware of how difficult it would be to keep Krishna hidden. Her only hope was to recite magic incantations. 267. When Nanda woke up in the morning, Akura explained things and presented numerous arguments to convince him. Nanda in turn convinced his sobbing wife and then brought Krishna outside. Commentary. Akura reminded Nanda how wicked Kamsa was, yet assured Nanda that Krishna was fully capable of dealing with the evil king. Nanda had no choice but to let Krishna go to the aid of their friends in Mathura. 268. The gopis watched helplessly as if Nanda were depriving them of their life's air, and without shame cried out in agonized voice, "Alas, alas."
Alas.
Commentary. By sending Krishna away, Nanda Maharaj was taking away the gopis' very life. But when Nanda personally escorted Krishna out of the house to the waiting Akura, there was nothing the gopis could do but stare incredulously.
Yeah, this pastime was also told in a book by Shivaram Swami called Krishna Sangati. And I read this kind of a few weeks ago, this particular pastime in that book. So Maharaj is taken from here and also other places. And he kind of fluffs out the actual scene where Mother Yasoda's trying to hide Krishna. Now, she tries to hide him in all different places. First of all, she tries to, as mentioned, to hide him within her sari and her cloth. Then she hides him behind curtains, you know. She's in complete frantic mood. And then eventually Nanda Maharaj manages to speak to Yasoda, promising that Krishna will come straight back again. And that's why she reluctantly allows, or she kind of reluctantly, allows Krishna to actually go. But it's quite a scene when Akura actually comes and the time comes for Krishna leaving the house to get onto the chariot. It's quite a heart-wrenching scene of Mother Yasoda, you know, trying to hide Krishna in all different parts of behind the big velvet curtains, you know. And there's a picture where Krishna's got his head pointed out from the curtains and he's winking at Balaram, you know. He's winking at Balaram at the fun, in one sense, of Mother Yasoda trying to hide him. You know, like that. If you have that book, you can read more about it there. Krishna Sangati. Okay. Okay, what's the, 269.
Then Yashoda came outside, miserable, wiping the torrents of rain from her eyes. She took her son's hand and placed it in the hands of Akura, the son of Swapalka, as if giving Krishna to him for safekeeping. Commentary. In the civil law discussed in the Manu Samhita and other Dharma Shastras, Nyas or Nikshepa is a major topic. When a person deposits property with someone for safekeeping, the person holding the property is held gravely responsible. Anyone found guilty of betraying this trust, for example, by failing to return the property to its legitimate owner, the government should punish severely.
Okay, so Mother Yasoda's followed that in giving over Krishna. There is a grave responsibility that Krishna is returned. No. Okay. Oops, could I jump in and have a read for last few minutes?
Yep.
So 270. She then told Nanda, I place in your hands this son, more dear to me than life and wealth. Don't trust anyone. Just bring him back here to my side and return him to my hand. Commentary. In her own unique way, Yasoda advises her husband not to place too much trust in Akura. All right, so she's speaking to Nanda Maharaj. Having made that agreement, the faithful wife Yasoda, so pained by the weight of love for her son, that she fainted again and again. Returned without Krishna, who she fainted again and again, returned without Krishna to her lonely home. A great lament then arose from the women of Raj. Okay, so that's it. Once Yasoda has let him go, then that's confirmation to all the women of Raj that this is serious business. Krishna is leaving. So now they're all in great stress. Seeing Krishna about to leave, the women of Raj now lost all hope. Even today, remembrance of that scene makes stones cry, trees shed tears, and lightning bolts shatter. All living beings are submerged in an ocean of grief if they don't at once give up their lives. Simple-hearted Yasoda told the ladies of Raj all sorts of things, trying to console them, but their minds were immersed in a vast ocean of pain and sorrow, and so they answered her with anger. Commentary. Yasoda suggested to the ladies that because she had turned her son, Krishna, over to Akura, the son of a Muni, and to Nanda Maharaj, there was no reason to worry about him. One can assume that anything left on deposit with a saintly person is safe. I am sure that Akura will come back soon with my husband to return Krishna to me. She was too simple-hearted to question Akura's promise, even though she knew he could be duplicitous. Okay, she's an example of quality of a devotee is to be very simple-hearted. Yeah, so this is Mother Yasoda. Oh, merciless now, the other ladies. Oh, merciless woman, devoid of sense. Just see, you have offered your own calf into the hands of a tiger. This empty house is fit to burn down. How can you enter alone? Commentary. Even a less intelligent animal like a cow would never willingly allow a tiger to take away her calf. How then could Yasoda have offered her son to Kamsa's servant? And after doing so, how could she have returned home? How could she return alone to a home devoid of Krishna's presence? All right, so this is love. So they're speaking in great, they're speaking in such a way it sounds contradictory, but this is love. They're speaking out of a great sense of love. So, they're comparing a kura to a tiger. Yeah, they're making a comparison, just like a tiger takes a calf, just like a cow gives a calf to a tiger. So it's quite an extreme example. But this is how they see it. This is how their love sees it. Yeah. Reviling Yasoda and the others and cursing Akura, the ladies burst out of their homes, frenzied by misery, and rushed after Lord Krishna, calling out to him and crying pitifully. Commentary. After Yasoda, Nanda Maharaj was next to receive the ladies' censure. They also blamed the other responsible cowherds for not objecting. 276. This crying, this extreme sorrow, this insufferable pain made everyone else cry as well. Akura and Nanda, Balaram and the cowherds, and even beloved Krishna, who had mounted Akura's chariot, all the residents of Raj were bewildered, so everyone's crying at this point. And 7 o'clock, but let's go on a couple of verses. After a moment, Krishna, the life and soul of the young gopis, came to his senses. He saw the gopis apparently on the verge of death, and he got down from the fine chariot to revive them. Surrounded by them and unseen by others, he went into a forest grove. When Kamsa's messenger Akura came back to himself from his faint and saw that Krishna was not on the chariot, he felt remorse for having allowed this to happen. With clever words, he then tried to win the confidence of Balaram. He described how agonized were Devaki, Vasudeva, and the Yadavas only on account of Krishna. Lord Balaram, Krishna's older brother, the divine son of Rohini and Vasudeva, then went with his uncle Akura to search for Krishna. By certain signs, he was able to locate the grove. Commentary. And then I'll just read 281 and we'll pause there. Lord Krishna, Balaram, like Krishna, Balaram is also called Vasudeva because he is the son of Vasudeva by another wife. Akura used Lord Balaram's inability to tolerate Vasudeva's suffering as leverage to secure Balaram's help in finding Krishna. Once Balaram agreed to bring Krishna back, it was easy to spot Krishna's footprints and follow them to the place where Krishna and the gopis had gone. 281. Finding Krishna surrounded by the gopis, Balaram stood at a distance, but Akura, in a tearful voice, spoke out so that Krishna would hear these words. Okay? Hari Om Tat Sat. All right, let's pause there and we'll pick it up next Thursday to see how this unfolds. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you, devotees, for joining us. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Just a quick Monday. We're going to start the new thing. Prayer.
Yeah, from Monday we're going to start a new series. I think we decided on the end. We've got a good references for it. It's the prayers of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so if you'd like to join us for that, that will be starting on Monday. The prayers, different prayers from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I was thinking we could read the prayers and read the purports as well. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
I'm not going to be there Monday, Tuesday, so I'll just try and send the link, or maybe Gayatri can send the link to everybody.
Okay, so what I do is I'll create a new link for that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll create a new title and a new link for it. And I'll send it. Okay. I'll send it to Chandravali and you can do as is needed. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prabhupada ki jai, Brhat Bhagavatamrta ki jai, Brhat Bhagavatamrta.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you.
May you dream of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare